Welcome back aboard Arabella. This week, a big item on the to-do list comes into shape. You can help the channel just by clicking the like and subscribe buttons, and you can always go the next step by checking out our Patreon page. But a big thank you just for watching.
One thing that we haven't got done yet, which we probably really should have, is sail covers. So we could pick up some kind of just generic ones that we could put on, but they would be a little tough with the gaffs. And I've really wanted sail covers that stay on the boat, that we don't have to take off when we put the sails away. And those styles are often referred to as stack packs. So what we hope to do in the next month or so, Robin has a friend with a sewing machine who's going to come give us a hand. I got to get back to Granby and get Victoria's old sails, and out of those we are going to make the first round of sail covers. So sail covers will be nice. They'll protect the sails from the UV when they're not being used, which will extend their life greatly, and it means that we don't have to put sail ties and ropes when there's storms and lash all the sails down like we've been. There will be a nice neat bag that they drop into that'll help with a lot of things with the sails. There's a bit that goes into those, and with the lazy jacks and reefing, and that all kind of needs to play nicely with the stack pack. So Ed from Mattapoisett Boatyard, the guy who helped us with launching there, he's on his way over, and Ed has sailed around the world and has a few thoughts on what we should do. So I'm really interested to hear how he thinks we should lay out these stack packs and kind of pick his brain a little bit so that we can get them made in the next little bit and get them on the boat before not too much longer. Hey, Ed. Not too shabby. And yourself? Yeah, it's not too bad. It's a little nicer than the spot we looked at in New Bedford.
Yeah.
You may be unfamiliar with the term stack packs, but the shape is fairly common. Essentially 2 pieces of fabric lashed to the top of the boom that the sail can fold into as it's lowered. And once it is, a zipper enclosure brings it all together. The challenge for Steve with this design is that it will change the way he needs to reef the sail. With no stack pack, the reefing lines, seen here, can wrap around the bottom of the boom. That won't be an option with the cover in place. Ed was there to help Steve sort out what he'll need to change to make it all work.
Okay, yeah, so this line, it's your reef tack downhaul line right now, running back through here is giving you the wrong lead. It's pulling the sail. This grommet wants to live fairly close to the track, and it's pulling it aft and away from the track. So it's really loading up that next car just above that when you're reefed. So if we could get a point here, maybe a friction ring or something here close to the track, that we could put a small strop like a Dyneema line that comes through that, and then with a hook, or I think we talked about a dog bone going through these grommets coming down to the fixed point of that line, and could end here, and then you could have a block and tackle from here to here to tension that, and you could use it as a Cunningham under full main, and then you could just move it up to each tack downhaul point as you reef.
What's a Cunningham?
Cunningham gives you a little down pressure here. Once you're fully hoisted, your halyard can only get so much tension on the luff, and then that allows you to pull the sail down at the luff of the sail, the leading edge of the sail, down, and get some proper tension on the luff, the leading edge of the sail.
What does that affect?
That affects sail shape, and which affects your ability to go upwind, and so you want to be able to flatten that sail a little bit as it's windier. That forward line will use a single line to do all the jobs. Back here, each of the tack outhaul locations would have its own dedicated line. So I threw this line on temporarily just to show you. So what I do is I come through, this is your first reef outhaul, come through the sail, and then I run over the boom, and then back around the boom and tie a loop in it, so you can tighten that up, and it will sort of luggage luggage itself onto the boom, and it won't slide along the boom, and you can move it forward and aft to get the right position, to get the right combination of downward pull and out haul pull. And then from there, once it goes through this grommet on the other side of the boom at the right location to sort of equalize this direction of pull, you'll put a cheek block. And then from there, you can run up towards the mast and put a cleat either all the way up near the gooseneck, near the mast, or a little bit further back, wherever you find it convenient.
From the wire to the end of the boom. 24 inches. And then to get this entire bundle under the boom and around the mess of sails. Yeah, 70 inches in total. Seems like that's enough. 70 inches. Everything's frosty this morning.
It must feel nice on your bare hands.
Oh, it feels great. Oh, they don't care. 25. And that is about 18 inches from the end of the boom. All right, so that gives us the length of our sail cover, what we need to go around the sails, basically our circumference at the wire, and our circumference towards the end of the boom. I think that's it for this one. All right, let's check out the main. This is where we need 3 people. 1 to film, 1 to hold the end of my tape measure, and me to go pull measurements. So we need to get the circumference around the sails at the mast, around the sails at the end of the gaff, need to get good measurements where all of these are. So we have the tie-in point at the boom. I need to make sure that, well, this one doesn't matter too much. That's inside the stack pack. But this one and the subsequent ones, we need to know exactly where they are along this line, because the stack pack's going to go under the sail and over the boom and around the sail. And we need to create a little slice in the stack pack that's reinforced where these lines can go through the stack pack and through the sail and lace both of them down to the boom. So we need to know where the center of these are as they go down for the main and for the mizzen. So all of these sails came with Victoria, and I've honestly never even laid them out. Haven't really had a clean spot to do it, or really a reason to do it. This looks like a light jib to me. Let's see what else we have in here. Well, ain't that the cutest little thing you've ever seen? What is in here? Fort aft. Oh. Lee cloths. Winch pocket. Yeah, that's what these are. So if I'm not mistaken, these are meant to get lashed to the stanchions, lifelines around the boat, and give you some extra wave and wind protection when you're in the cockpit, help keep the spray from hitting you. So that's what it looks like these are for. There's remnants of Velcro, or it looks like they went onto the lifelines. There's a little pocket here, which I assume was for the winch handles. It's good to know, I guess, that they're in here. We've got some canvasy material to play with if we want. This is like a bit of a treasure hunt. I can't believe I've had all this stuff for so many years and never even went through it. There just wasn't really much of a point. And then out here we have Victoria's 3 mainsails. So there's the smaller jib, which would have been her inner one, her staysail. And then underneath the main is a bigger jib. And Akiva is walking around on her mainsail. So then grab the dimensions and kind of start to figure out what makes sense. Essentially, I want to get these cut down to a reasonable size where we can bring them back and work on them on the dock. They're just a bit too big to lay out there. Thankfully, it's winter. This place is empty. And they have a big, beautiful deck to work on. So you have the mast, you have the boom, you have the topping lift, the lazy jack lines, and then this is the rough shape of what the stack pack's going to look like. So one end will get attached to the mast, the lazy jacks will get attached to the top of it, back end will get attached to the topping lift, and it'll get laced onto the boom with the sail, and then the sail will kind of sit down in there. So if we were to lay this out, it would look something like this. We need a little cutout where the boom is. We're going to put a piece of webbing down the middle as a reinforcement, and then we're going to put some reinforced slices on either side of the webbing so that when the sail sits in here, the lines will go through these slits through the sail and lace the sail and the sail cover down to the boom. And the slits will let the sail cover and the sail kind of adjust to where they want to be. We'll have some grommets where it'll attach to the mast and for the lazy jacks. And then since this isn't straight lines, it's the worst drawing of them all. But this is kind of an idea, and if you were to look on it on end. So you'd have your boom, forms a U of fabric. The sail's gonna stack all in here. There's a flap on the top with a zipper. And these are where the lazy jacks are gonna attach and pull up. And we're gonna put a thin piece of tubing in there so that there's some rigidity to the stack packs. And then Robin helped me the other day, and we got all of our measurements. So these numbers are all where the grommets land, where we need to make the slits. I know, Akiva, we're not paying attention to you, I'm sorry. The length of the gaff, the boom, what fittings, what cutouts we need here for the fittings at the gaff and the boom, and the circumference around the sails and the gaff. So we need, for the mizzen, 67 inches of fabric to corral the sail here. But we only need 37 back here, and we only need 22 here. Perfect. This seam should be our center line for it. And then we need a total of 70 inches, but we also need to account for it going around the top. We're gonna gain a couple inches when we put the zipper in, but we're gonna lose a couple inches for the reinforcement pipe. I want to come square off this seam, and I want to get these grommets cut off. And we'll kind of get a square edge of fabric there. I don't care if there's some reinforcement left, I just don't want the grommets. Cutting through a few layers here. How many layers do we have here? That's what the color of the sails used to be. That's what they are now. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 layers in the corners. I expect to get maybe 2 seasons out of these. This is really, I want to make sure that we get the design right and that it's not too small, not too big. Yeah. So I think when we go to do the edges, it's, you know, not a huge deal.
Functional.
Functional for a couple of years, yeah. Oops, down there. I was just looking at the different sail covers. This one, I think, is a straight cut, but it's kind of hard to tell with how baggy it is.
Yeah.
Let's see how the middle's sagging so much.
Yeah.
Be nice if the rain would go away. All right, let's fold it in half. Nice. To really do a good test fit, I have to take the sails off. And I've got to measure for reef points and stuff. So I'm essentially just trying to get all the fabric to the point where we can start really laying out the tape and doing the test fit. Because even this just takes a while. Okay, and then we need the angle of the topping lift. I think we're at the point of taping. I'm not quite sure how taping is going to go in this cold of weather. Generally that stuff kind of thing doesn't like to stick as well when it's cold. And I'm also not entirely sure on the best order of operations for sewing. And I feel like when Paul comes with his machine, he's going to be a lot better to be like, we should do these seams first.
Yeah.
And it might be easier just to like tape and sew the one down the middle, or maybe do the hems first, or I'm not quite sure. But I don't think at this point it would take us very long to do the folding and the taping. So I wonder if we get the rest of them to this point, Paul comes, you, me, and Paul tape out one and get it all situated, and then he can sew while we can tape the rest.
That sailor over there's got a shredded stencil.
Yeah, it's been that way apparently for years. Apparently the boat hasn't left that spot in years.
Abandoned maybe.
Apparently a lot of the boats here don't ever leave.
Actually, not so. They're just
Do you want any of this? I think that is all I'm going to keep. Because I still have both of Victoria's jibs.
Sure, I'll take one or two big pieces if you don't want.
So I think I'll hang on to those two, but whatever you don't want out of here, we'll just go throw in the dumpster.